Hey everyone, it's Mr. Warren again, checking in. Hope you're doing well. We made it through week number 2 of this crazy time that we're currently living in. Hope you're all hanging in there, and I hope we get back into the classroom soon so we can see each other in person again. Just a couple reminders. Wanted to remind you that Sunday night, 11:59, is the deadline for submitting your Act 2 Macbeth scene guide. Had a couple of questions from people. Do we have to do it all? Yeah, do the whole thing. Act 2, Scene 2, Act 2, Scene 3, and Act 2, Scene 4. Fill in every single box on that scene guide, not just for Scene 2, but also do Scene 3 and Scene 4. It's not too long, shouldn't take you too much time, hopefully, if you're reading for the No Fear Shakespeare translation. Wanted to give you a little help with that, let you know what's going on in the scenes. Take a look at this. So for Act 2, Scene 2, Lady Macbeth is worried that Macbeth didn't end up killing King Duncan. Remember, she thought that Macbeth was too full of the milk of human kindness and wouldn't go through with the killing of King Duncan. She would have done it herself. She would have gone off and killed King Duncan herself, but he reminds her of her father, and it sounds like there's some kind of a backstory there between Lady Macbeth and her father. Well, Macbeth does return from killing the king, but he forgot to lay the daggers by the guards. What a dummy, of course. And he also tells his wife that he'll probably never be able to sleep again because of what he has done. So then Lady Macbeth says, "You dummy, I guess I have to do everything myself." So she then goes and wipes the blood on the guards and lays down the daggers. Now, she gets blood on herself when she's doing this, and this is important to remember later on. Then they both hear a knocking sound, and they leave. That's Act 2, Scene 2. Go to Act 2, Scene 3. Lot going on here. The knocking that Lady Macbeth and Macbeth hear is on the front door of their castle, but Macbeth, again, starting to go crazy, starting to hallucinate, thinks it's all in his head, even though there is actual knocking on their front door. So this porter, a guy who lets people in and out of the castle, he lets in 2 new guys named Macduff and Lennox, and both of these guys have come to see the king. Macbeth then goes out and shows Macduff where the king is. Macduff goes into the bedchambers, sees the dead king, he's horrified by what he sees, and then he rings a bell to wake everybody up, all the while shouting that the king is dead. So everybody comes in, they see the dead king, and Macbeth reveals, when everybody's there, that it was he who killed the guards who killed Duncan. So Macbeth says, yes, the guards, they were the ones that killed King Duncan. And then he says, Macbeth does, that he killed the guards for what they did. And Lady Macbeth says, "You dummy, you're at it again. You're blowing everything here. You're saying more than you should." She's worried that Macbeth is going to reveal their entire plan to everybody in the castle, so she faints to distract everyone. Banquo then reveals, as Lady Macbeth is being carried away, that he's going to lead the investigation into Duncan's murder, and Duncan's sons, Malcolm and Donalbain, they flee the country. Last scene in the act, Scene 4, we have Ross and an old man are discussing all these weird supernatural things that have been happening in Scotland since Duncan died. For example, Duncan's horses ate each other, and a falcon was killed by an ordinary mousing owl. Then Macduff comes back in to say that Duncan's sons have fled the country. And this looks suspicious to him and many others, as a lot of people think Duncan's sons bribed the guards to kill their father so that they could rule Scotland together. Of course, this isn't true. We know what actually happened. And then the scene ends with Macduff saying that Macbeth is about to be named King of Scotland, thus completing the witch's prophecy. So there it is. Macbeth has become king. He killed King Duncan. Everybody thinks it's the 2 sons. They wanted to be king for themselves. They fled the country, which looks suspicious. And now people have to watch Macbeth become king. And as we said in Scene 3, Banquo's going to lead the investigation into Duncan's murder. And that's going to be kind of tricky because remember, Macbeth and Banquo are best friends. What'll happen next? We'll just have to wait and see. Hope this helped a little bit. Remember, your scene guide is due in full completely on Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you next week.